Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So first off, on this video I wanted to say thanks to all of you for subscribing to the channel. I've noticed that we've hit over 300 subscribers, so that's awesome. I've got a lot that I want to talk to you guys about in this video, so I'll run the intro and we'll get this video started. Alright, so I got the Legend suspension installed on my motorcycle. You'll know from my last video and also the post I make on Instagram, y'all need to go check out Rebel's 10 Cycle Supply in Benton, Arkansas. If you haven't met Tony and Jacob, you need to. Tony's a real cool guy. He's got the stunt tour as well as the shop. And then Jacob, he's a Harley technician that's pretty well worked all over this country and a really cool guy to talk to, and he knows what he's doing. So anyway, I wanted to do a quick video, show you guys the suspension setup that I got, and that way I can let you know what I think about it initially. I'll do a review later on after I've got some serious miles on the suspension, and you guys can decide if Legend suspension is something for you. So on the front of my bike, I went with the Legend Axio. Basically, it's just some cartridges that they threw in the front forks, and they're pretty well all set up and ready to go. They do have some adjustability to them. I was talking to them and they said that they have a customer that he likes to do wheelies a lot and slam his front end down. And so they went ahead and set it to, I think it's a number 2 on the front of his bike. But for whatever I'm doing, just the touring and not popping wheelies, the first setting was good enough. On the back, I went with the Revo Arc with the reservoir. And the great thing about this setup, guys, is you don't need any tools. It's all done by hand. So here at the bottom of the shock, you have an adjustment where you can adjust the rebound, how quickly the shock either rebounds or doesn't. And then the reservoir on the back is your compression, so you can increase or decrease that simply with a turn of a hand. Now, whenever Jacob installed these for me, he had me sit on the bike, get off the bike, sit on the bike, get off the bike, because they literally, this all goes off of your weight and your height, and basically with the setup that we have on the rear, it actually raised the back of my motorcycle up 1 inch, and to me it's a lot more comfortable. So I'm going to show you guys up close what this system looks like. And then down here is the reservoir. There's a couple different mounting options for these, but I just had mine put down here. I think the other one, you can have a bracket that mounts up here next to your saddlebag. I didn't want to do that because I've got a tour pack coming. Well, thank you, neighbor. All right, so y'all want to know what my initial thoughts are of the Legend suspension? Let me tell you, it's a very plush riding system, much better than the stock Harley Davidson suspension. We've got a lot of potholes here in the state of Arkansas, as well as I'm sure you do in your state too, but with me doing the front and the rear suspension swap on this bike, you can really tell the difference. Now, the front end, riding the stock Harley, to me it always seemed like you would bottom out. Every pothole you hit, it just, you know, thump, and then you'd hit the bottom of the suspension and then it'd come back up, and it just really would jar you. Not so much now with the Legend Axio. Now, don't get me wrong, you still feel it whenever you hit the pothole, but it's more of a precise and a quick, you know, down and back up, and then you're already crossed it and through it. The rear, I do like because the bike sits up taller, especially whenever I'm riding in traffic now. But it really helps having that added travel for whenever I'm cruising down the interstate. If I hit a pothole, it smooths it out. It's just like I'm gliding across the top of the pavement. No pun intended. So, what else do I like about the suspension? The price, not so much. It is a big investment, but let me tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, it is absolutely worth it. What's another perk to the suspension? Yeah, it rides plush and it's comfortable, it's great. But another big difference that I noticed is whenever I get this bike into the curves, with the stock Harley setup, it seemed like I'd lean into a curve and the front end would start to wobble and the bike would wobble underneath me. It wasn't stable. With this Legend suspension, it's just like being on a rail now, and it really smoothed it out, and I can hit the corners a lot harder and dig through them, and it's not an issue. The reason, well, another reason that I got the suspension is for ride comfort. Now, as you've noticed, I've got a Saddleman road sofa seat on my bike, and that helped tremendously, but the suspension, it's really taken it to another level. Yes, whenever it's installed, you set it up for you as a single rider. I suppose that if you were to be riding 2-up all the time on, say, like a Ultra Classic, you would maybe want to step up and get the heavy duty Legend setup that they have. I think they say if basically both riders and your configuration with trunk and stuff like that is over 500 pounds, you need to get the heavy duty suspension. But I didn't need that. But the one thing I do like about it is whenever I do have my wife on the bike, I can just make a few clicks on the reservoir and we're good to go. We took a ride yesterday through the Ouachita National Forest, and it was a really good day. Mrs. Glide, what did you think about the ride?
It was definitely a lot more smooth.
A lot more smooth. Okay, so is it worth me spending the money?
Absolutely.
You heard it from her herself. Now available, new merch. Here's the back. My hashtag, RideLock2Lock. I'll explain that here in just a minute. Guys, I don't use Patreon or anything like that to support my channel, but I decided that I was going to have some t-shirts made. Now these are Gildan soft style. They're really soft. I've already sold a couple of them. I'm sure, guys, if you've already purchased a shirt from me, leave a comment down below. Let people know what you think about them. But I just wanted to have something that I could give back to the community of those that have subscribed to my channel. Give you a little something. The shirts, they're $25. If you want one, leave me a comment down below and I'll get in contact with you. Or you can send me a message on Instagram. Of course, it's at Glide Arkansas. Let me explain this at RideLock2Lock to you. So on the handlebars of the motorcycle, if I was to turn them all the way to the right, that's what we would call lock. The handlebars won't turn any further. The same to the left. It's all the way to lock. So whenever I say RideLock2Lock, you ride the full range of the handlebars that you can turn. I'll show a video clip here of me doing a cone pattern that is basically me doing figure eights over and over and over again before I make my way out of the cone pattern. Now, in order to be able to make turns like that, I'm putting the bike all the way to lock and then leaning it all the way over, and then coming back and going to lock the other way and back and forth, so on and so forth, until I make my way through the cone pattern. So if you guys like the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up down below. I appreciate all of you that have subscribed. Like I said, we're over 300 people now, so that's awesome. I hope everybody's doing well, especially with this virus going around. Remember, social distancing, 6 feet away. And make sure you ride your motorcycle. As always, y'all ride safe. I'll see you guys in the next video.